pulling away, which they are from Netflix.
For more on Disney and media, let's bring in Tom Rogers, longtime media executive and CNBC contributor. Tom, it is always great to have you with us.
Great to be here.
Can Disney catch up at this point in terms of DTC streaming?
The state of the Magic Kingdom is as important as the State of the Union when it comes to the temperature of the media industry. I think Disney successfully changed the narrative here to talk about streaming. I don't think things have really changed for investors in terms of the state of play. And what I mean by that is the traditional business, make no mistake about it, is in decline. It is truly in decline. They're managing it well. The results today show they're managing it well. But subscribers are going to continue to decline. Viewership is declining. Kids' viewership is in free fall. And that's bread and butter stuff for Disney. So overall, they got a lot to manage through. So the question is, how big is the direct-to-consumer streaming business going to be?
Right, can it offset that decline in the core businesses?
And the thing they got to do in changing this narrative is they got to get away from the Netflix comparison. They cannot catch Netflix. Netflix is going to have 170 million subs by the end of the year, and Disney will just be launching. Netflix will probably have 300 million subs in the next 5 years. The best estimates I've seen on Disney Plus over that period of time is 50 million, and that's stretching it. Remember, there are only 35 million households in this country with kids 5 to 15. That's what Disney Plus is going to appeal to, and it's going to be some subset of that. ESPN Plus off to a good start, but 2 million subs is one thing. They need 3 million subs just to pay for their half of the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting package that they picked up, and that's one sport, one rights contract. So they got a lot to prove here that I don't think helps when Netflix is the bar that they have to meet in terms of success.
So let's say the Street gives them some time, right? They're a premier company and they've got great management. Let's say 3 or 4 quarters down the road, where do they need to be for you to think, all right, they're really gaining some traction here, even if they're not remotely close to Netflix?
I think we're just going to be getting evidence of the beginning of something in 3 or 4 quarters from now. I think we're really going to have to be a good year and a half into the Disney Plus launch to have a sense of this. But, you know, they don't have a lot of their content. It is tied up still in Netflix. It is still tied up when it comes to the Fox acquisition in HBO. There's a lot of that they aren't going to be able to pull back immediately. So it is going to be the new stuff and originals. And when I hear people talking about, well, they got a lot of content, a lot of it they're not going to be able to rely on. You don't talk about Netflix and watching it because it has Avengers Infinity Wars, one of Disney's films. You talk about watching Netflix because of the originals. And I haven't heard yet the kind of commitment to original production and the kind of originals that they're going to need to invest in. And to Pete's comment earlier about cash, and the Street is looking for cash, that is a huge commitment in additional cash beyond anything I think people have really begun to model, and that's where the rubber is going to hit the road when we see what they're going to do there.
What should Iger be doing then? What's your advice?
Well, one, I would get into sports gaming and gambling on ESPN. Inexplicably, they're staying away from that. Full disclosure, I have personal interest in the company I run in that sector. That's the big pool of revenue in sports. I don't understand them staying away from it. 2, I would lower expectations by just getting rid of this Netflix comparison.
They're not making it, though, are they?
No, but they feed into it. And they should talk about these being streaming businesses with the potential for success without that having to be held over their heads. And 3, they got to be able to manage growth, going for it, the way Netflix just goes for growth, without having to be too preoccupied with managing the decline. When the recession hits, cord cutting is going to accelerate like nobody is predicting. Advertising is going to be hit. The parks are going to be hit. We all know the recession is going to come. Those are things that can really get in the way of your focus on growth, and you've got to make sure your organization is prepared to continue to focus on growth all the way.
All right, Tom, great to see you. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Tom Rogers. All right, what do you think, Tom?
Fascinating. While we're still making the comparison to Netflix, Netflix had negative free cash flow of like $3 to $4 billion last year on that spend on original content. I think if anybody's